Well, believe it or not, at one point, your favorite comics sucked.
Everybody's arms are crossed.
At the beginning, we're all supposed to suck.
Yo,
Got my one-liner.
what's more American than failing?
Feel my weekend game has turned into a one-nighter.
I thought the set went well.
The guy in the second level get off his cell phone.
There is no God, strike me down now.
Yeah.
The tables in the back are digging my dick jokes.
That's what comedy's about, man. It's about bombing. And I was like, no, it's not. Like, that's not what you want.
They give me the sign, I give them my closer.
I'm just over 500 with good shows versus bad shows.
Just enough to get in the playoffs.
I hit the punch
All right, this is a good episode.
Fuck it.
Long story short,
He failed. God damn it. Yes,
Wait.
misery loves company, my boy.
thanks for coming out. Boom.
Thanks for coming out, baby. Thanks for coming out.
Hey.
Thanks for coming out. Are we under attack?
Thanks for coming out. Fuck, that bad?
Thanks for coming out. I'm in. Thanks for coming out.
I can't even watch.
Yeah, all that was unprofessional.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The bomb is the bomb, and it will always be that. Ladies and gentlemen, we are back. Your favorite podcast. Thanks for coming out. A podcast about bombing. My name is Shuli. That is James Mattern, and we are joined by one of our buddies who is just killing it more and more day by day. If you listen to the Gas Digital Network, then you know this man. He is the sniper of all snipers. This guy sits in the, you talk about sitting in the pocket. This guy sits in the pocket, doesn't say a word, and when he does, it's a grand slam bomb every time. His batting average, if there was a Hall of Fame for zingers, you're looking at the statue in front of it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, comedian extraordinaire, broadcaster.
They only started letting zingers in the league in like the 60s.
You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen.
That was
the
Mount
great-
Landis as the commissioner. Yeah.
The great Zac Amico, ladies and
Thank
gentlemen.
you for having me, buddy. It's very, very nice of you.
I would go so far to say he's just not in the pocket. He's the pocket knife.
He really is. When they talk about quarterbacks and the poise they show,
Yes.
this guy is all about poise and zinger jokes, and that's why I love him. One of the many reasons. One of the quickest guns in the West, man. It comes to just roasting or writing or coming up with a line. I mean, Zac is you are legendary, man. People know you're the
Thank you.
shit.
That's very, very nice to hear.
Well, and one of the reasons we wanted you on, Zac, is because you're one of the most fearless dudes based on the first 30 seconds of this appearance. You could tell Zac just shoots for the funny all the time, and he'll worry about repercussions or anything after. And that's another thing that we'd want to discuss with you, because that's awesome, because you clearly probably at times piss off an audience because you're just going for the joke and don't give a shit. And that's one of the reasons we want you on this.
Yeah, I mean, you got to swing hard.
Right.
And, yeah, it's I rather fail knowing I went for the biggest thing than have gone, you know what, maybe don't say that.
Yeah, there's no cruise ship comic in you, dog. You are pure 100% uncut.
But I do look like the women that are on cruise ships.
You do. If the Rosie Cruise had a pamphlet with a picture on it, you're definitely on it. But
James will know this reference. I did Shipwrecked years ago.
yeah.
Oh my
Heavy
God!
Metal cruise.
Yes, I've been wanting that for
Every
years.
woman on the boat looked like Greg the Hammer Valentine.
Oh, stop turning me on.
I want to get to like your start. Well, but first of all, back to what you were saying about the fearlessness. I also feel like it's the delivery mechanism, right? Like Zac is. Forget the tattoos, the appearance. There's an aura of sweetness coming out of this guy, where you don't feel like he's angry. You don't feel like he hates people or whatever he's talking about. And I think that's a huge part of it is the delivery mechanism, how you throw it out there.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to do it with a smile.
Yeah.
That coyish boy smile.
Yeah, you are the old analogy, a spoonful of sugar to get the medicine down. Because, like if you look at Zac, if you're hearing this, you don't see Zac. Zac looks like he rode to my apartment, which is our studio, in the fucking Gravedigger. All due respect. But his delivery sounds like an old Southern guy on a rocking chair, drinking sip tea, drinking sweet tea and puffing on a cigar.
Yeah, he is he's with that, and that's the fine line between, telling a joke and standing in front of a podium, riling motherfuckers up.
The difference between comedy and hate speech.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
yeah. You're on that tightrope, and you do it well, and I love that.
Thank you.
Let's talk about your start. How did you start, and what field of comedy did you start in stand up first, or did you start writing? Because you're a jack of all trades. So where do you start?
God, please tell us improv. That'll shock the shit out of us and
Yeah.
be amazing.
No, I was in a punk rock band
Okay, that I believe.
for throughout college,
Okay.
and we broke up right around my senior year of college.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at NYU,
Okay.
and I was taking a class called The History of New York Comedy.
Wow.
It could have just been called Jews.
Zach's the best.
And the final was either do a 25-page paper or 5 minutes at Eastville.
Wow.
And everyone chose to do stand up.
Right.
Was there one nerd? That'd be great. Sir, I would like to do the 25-page paper.
No, but just to, if I ever, whenever I need that reality check. Also in that class was one of the head girls that writes for SNL now, and Rachel Bloom from My Super Ex-Girlfriend.
Oh my God.
Or that was the name of the show. So My Crazy
Yeah,
Ex-Girlfriend.
Right.
Who, by the way, one time in that class, she had a low-cut shirt on, and she's got big fucking Jew cans.
Hell yeah.
And I fell out of my seat trying to see down her shirt while she was
Oh
talking.
my God, Zach.
Because I kept getting lower and lower, and then my ass fell off the chair and I hit the ground.
I love it. I love
We
it.
haven't worked together.
No.
But yeah, so it was 5 minutes at Eastville, and then so they did like a training day where we all went to Eastville in the morning, and Dante, Nero, and the now dearly departed Ramsey Moore
Okay.
Oh,
came and spoke to us.
Ramsey Moore.
They each like gave us like some fundamentals of comedy,
Right.
and then listened to us do like a few minutes and critiqued us and kind of like tried to push us in the right direction.
Right.
And then we did a show, I think, on that show, and it's everyone that was a real comic on that show is still in my inner circle. Like I think
Wow.
it was Dave Smith, Justin Silver, and Big J.
Right.
Wow.
And they like did the show in between the students.
That's wild.
Um,
I mean, what a class. That's
insanity, isn't it?
And
Yeah.
then they had a second show that was supposed to be like a best of the 2 years of the class at Caroline's.
so
And
so Dante's given you had you ever seen stand up before, like as far as in a live setting? Had you gone to
I
see
had
stand-
never. I was a huge comedy fan. I had never been to a comedy club before.
So you're going into it with really no clue. The advice and the tips they're giving you, while on paper I'm sure it's great, but until you're up there, it's really meaningless. I mean, as far as like the structure, how to write, that's all stuff that comes as you do it. So you're just getting shoved into the fucking shit right out the gate. How did that
Yeah, it was
5
trial
minutes?
by fire.
Yeah, how did that 5 minutes go for you?
Pretty good.
I
I
don't
think that's
doubt
what
it.
got me hooked on it.
Usually,
Yeah.
I don't believe when someone says that, but I can tell it clearly was because like a lot of people lie about their first time. How was your first time? I'm fucking massacred, and you're like, well, I haven't seen you massacre in 12 years, but I can absolutely tell that it went surprisingly well. And it's interesting. I was going to ask you this too, and it was a great question, Schulz. You strike me as someone I know loves comedy, but you didn't strike me as someone who got into comedy because of like 5 comedians. Like I figured that your influence was probably punk rock, fucking horror movies, like someone who hosted a horror local show at 1 a.m. who wore a cape in their 60s. Like to me, that seemed like your influences. When you had to do the 5, was there any particular comic you wanted to be like?
I definitely the people that I am. I mean, I was definitely too much Norton at the time.
Right.
Like they say, that you got to shake your
Sure.
influences.
Right.
I had a lot of Norton, and some Patton.
Right.
Ben Oswald.
And then what people don't is the one that people, because I do, I'll drop the mic and yell sometimes in my act,
Sure.
and people always think I'm doing Gilbert,
Right. Right.
and especially because of the roast stuff that I do. But I'm doing, and I catch myself, I'm doing Bobcat.
Bobcat.
And people
was one of
never
my
realize that's
muses,
my
too.
cadence.
Yeah, he was one of my muses as well, to the point where I learned and mastered the impression that got me absolutely nowhere. It did
Oh,
nothing
it
for
was
me.
the best impression of the history of life, my friend. This
Yeah.
gentleman would do a 5-minute Bobcat as a sex phone operator. It was the greatest thing in the history of civilization. I refuse to let you talk down to yourself, buddy.
It was Bobcat calling phone sex. That was one of my early closers. And it was just like, you reach 1-900-DO-ME. What's your, like, my name's Bob. How are you?
Best.
And I just, and be like, I'm 5'10", blonde hair, blue eyes, 34D. What do you look like? I look like a cross between Brad Pitt and a bus accident. And people would go nuts because they knew him then, and now it's nothing and it's dead. But it got me nowhere then.
That just brought me so much joy.
It's the best. It's the best.
My goal, one of my bucket list things, is to do it for him, in front of him. But
I'm sure he loves that.
Sure, yeah. Hi, I'm like a really big fan. He just shoots himself right in front of me. But
if we got him on the show, what do you think he would hate more? You doing the Bobcat or me asking him how much he loved Sam Kinison?
I think he walks in and you offer him a Coke Zero and he walks right out. That's my. I don't think he lasts the show.
Oh, it's hilarious.
So your first time, you go up, you do well, you get the hook, right? The bug.
And I had been doing like, it only occurred to me recently that like when I was a kid, I was memorizing stand-up routines for my parents. And the two people that were like, and I definitely think their influences on me still, and people never see these coming because they're clean acts. It's Meanie and Panette.
Wow.
Because I remember my parents loving Meanie, Panette, and Farley.
I mean, Meanie is one of those underrated greats, man. Never.
But
got
I would be like 7 years old, walking around the house, going, "Peter stuck in the 9. That's not right."
I don't care. I mean, that guy would walk an entire room with that bit if he wanted to, and I got to do a little radio with him and Jay Thomas for a little while before he passed away. And I mean, one of those, he had this Rickles vibe where he would just take over the show. Like when Rickles was on Carson, Johnny had no control. And Kevin Meaney was the same exact way on the Jay Thomas show. Jay would get so frustrated and everything would be so fucking funny. And he's another guy, fearless. I could see why, even though it was through your parents, you gravitated towards somebody like that.
Yeah, and then same with the Panette, you go home now. I remember my parents doing that bit when I'm a little kid, and I would just mimic that. Then we did a second show at Caroline's. I opened for Big J, and Jay's manager at the time said, "Hey, do you really want to do comedy?"
Is this the great Wayne Rada?
Yes, it is.
That guy owes me a lot of money still. Wayne, if you're listening, I'm collecting, baby.
Never heard that one before.
Never. And you never will again, will you?
And Wayne, who I will give his credit, said, "Do you want to do comedy?" And put me up at the club he was running. I was like my 4th time ever on stage, and I was doing spots at a club.
Is that Stand Up New York?
It was CB's.
It's CB's. That's where I met you.
That's where you met me. And then I did a couple spots, and I wound up needing a job, and I became a ticket guy. And I would stand on the corner every night, Bleecker and McDougal, selling tickets for years. That's how, it's a blessing and a curse because I met all these guys when I was super young.
Right.
And they've all known me. But to this day, I still meet people. And I know Louis J. Gomez goes through the same thing. Some of the older guys, they're like, "Oh, it's the ticket guy."
It's hard to shake. When you start in New York, it is so tough to shake what you were initially to everyone.
Yeah.
That's why when Shuli and I moved out here, man, and Shuli was doing his radio thing, people were trying to get me to like do bringers and to sell tickets, and someone told me if you do that now, that's how you're going to be looked at. So I didn't, but it's so crazy. You haven't sold tickets. When's the last time you sold a ticket?
I still don't sell tickets.
Wait a minute, you still don't? Wait, you still
He's
do?
saying he still don't sell tickets for his
Oh,
show.
fucking
Yeah.
shit.
Fuck.
Probably it's been like what is it? 2021.
I was gonna say it's got
Probably
it's
been
gotta be
like
20
9
years.
years, 10
Yeah,
years since I've been out.
Think about how long that is. That someone's like, "Hey, man,
Maybe a
what's,
little less.
what's
maybe
the
8
house
years.
looking like tonight?" I don't know, motherfucker. I'm on the show with you.
That's
Dude,
like
it would be so great. I remember standing at because we were down the street from the cellar, and Gnome hated me
yes.
because I was nice and I wasn't like a scumbag dude. So I would tell people because people go, "Oh, we're going to the cellar," and all these scumbags would try and poach them.
Sure.
And I would go, "Oh, that's awesome. They're a great club. You're gonna have such a good time." But hey, and this is before they had 8 rooms.
Yeah,
Right.
I go, if they're sold out, I got a great show too. Come back and talk to me. And he would watch his line dissipate and me grab like 30 people
From the standby line.
Right.
from his standby
Oh,
line.
yeah.
And he started screaming at me, and I was like, "Hey, they're not, you're sold out. What more do you want?" And he goes, "I'd rather them go home." And he yelled at me, "We're very powerful people, and you don't know the enemy you made."
Uh-oh. Did
They don't want me.
at any point did he change the weather? Did he create a storm like
I held off on the voice. We're very powerful people.
I love him. It's like really that is really and coming from an Israeli born Jew, let me just say this. That is the definition of a Jew. What more do you want? I mean, that really is our people. If there was a crest, that was it. What up, everybody? Want to talk to you about our sponsor on Thanks for Coming Out. I know these people well. They are an amazing company. They are out of Iowa, the best friggin' corn-fed Midwest beef you ever had in your goddamn life. Rustic Cuts, my friend. Don't worry, they got grass-fed too. That's how you roll. They got it all. Ground beef, steaks, burgers, sliders. It never ends. And every single thing they have is delicious. I've tried it all. And you don't have to be locked into buying these big packages. You can pick whatever you want from their website, rusticcutscb.com. That's rusticcutscb, like cbradio.com. You go on there, you pick out whatever meats you want, you type in the promo code Shuli, you get 10% off your order. Order something, try it. You can't screw this up unless you just leave it on there overnight. All the meat is aged 21 days. You know what that's going to cost you to get at a steak place? Night on the town, babysitter, parking. Forget about it. Order it. Get it right to your door. Make it yourself. Feed it to the missus. And when she tastes this meat, deal closer, baby. Mariano Rivera coming out the bullpen. It's a wrap. So check out Rustic Cuts. rusticcutscb.com. They're the sponsor for Thanks for Coming Out. And we want to thank them for coming out. And make sure you use the promo code Shuli and you'll get 10% off. Now, back to the show. So now you have all these great experiences. Let's get into some not so great experiences on stage, because that's what this show's all about. Nobody wants to see your successes. They want to hear about your failures. So talk to me about the first bomb. Do you remember your first bomb and how bad was it?
My first bomb was my first weekend at CB's,
Okay.
and I had family come see me.
This
once
is one of
again-
our questions on the
Yep.
list. Has family ever seen you bomb?
Yeah, my aunt and uncle came out,
Oof.
and I ate my dick with a knife and fork.
Oh.
I mean, it was my first ever weekend at a club.
how
I've
many?
done
How much
stand-up-
time did you have to do?
12.
And then
Okay.
how much have you been doing before that?
What?
Like how much when you're
At
doing
most 5.
Yeah,
Oh.
he's a week into comedy.
I
right?
had been on stage doing comedy less than 10 times.
And now you're
Right.
getting doubled plus 2 what you've been
Yeah.
doing. Doubled plus 2.
And I did okay. I skated by the Friday,
Right.
and the Saturday,
Took a beat.
they just hated me.
And was it like 3 shows? Didn't Saturday
Yeah.
have 3 shows?
Mm-hmm.
So
Ah.
and all 3 were just tanks?
all three
Oh
were
my-
one worse than the other.
And then when you get to the late show, you're probably like, law of averages, this is going to be fine. I'll be
Or
okay.
you've completely given up. Those are
Yeah.
your two options. Is you
I'm going,
go,
I can't do this.
Oh
right,
my
This is
God.
not for me.
right. That is a bomb. When a bomb makes you question your decisions in life, that is when you know you've just, thanks for coming out. You've just taken the hot one. I mean, it's life
That
altering.
was, but looking back on it, it's amazing that I was even up there.
It's amazing that Friday went well, right?
Yeah. I shouldn't have been there. There is
Right.
no reason I should have been booked on that.
Was it like silence? Did you lose the crowd where they start chatting?
Did
Yeah,
anybody
chatting.
walk out?
Oh,
Okay.
the chatters.
Chatting. It was so after that,
Brutal.
the best they gave me the best thing that they could have given me, which is check spots for 2 years.
Yep.
And
Yep.
then check spots at LOL when LOL opened.
Check spots at LOL isn't that much different than a regular spot at LOL, to be quite honest. At least back in the day when I did it.
Check spots, if people don't know that it's the term, you go up, people are paying their checks, and you go up at LOL, which is the nightmare of nightmare rooms. And I remember I would just be doing the spot, and people would be yelling their bill at me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like you could handle it. Hey, why is the gin $15? I don't know. Do you want to hear about my cousin being a whore?
$14 for a Heineken?
Yeah.
Right. And that's the thing, it's an unwinnable spot for so long, but the minute you get a victory in the check spot, that really, I watched Brendan Sagalow when I first started going to New York Comedy Club. He was the check spot guy, and I watched this kid go from nothing to people stop signing their shit, pick their head up, and listen to what he's saying. And if you can do that in that spot, then you're on your way. You're a pro as far as I'm concerned. It's and there's a friend of mine did a great album called The Check Spot.
Who could
Gentleman
that
by the name
be?
of James Mattern. Might want to check
Boo,
it out.
baby. Download that
available.
shit.
Yeah,
Thank you.
available on all platforms. But it is the shittiest of spots, but probably, like you said, the most educational, right?
It's comedy boot camp.
Comedy boot camp, 100%.
And doing it at that club is kind of like when my buddies went to the military, they told me that they get dropped off like in a jungle with like a knife and a canteen of water for like a week. That's what that feels like to me. Like you're just, here you go, fella. Well, we hope to see you in a week.
Yeah, they filmed Predator there.
Yeah.
That-
After a few of those nights, I also compared it to a jungle, but in a different way.
Oh, buddy. Oh, buddy. I gotta get out of the frame. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm an innocent boy
It
from the
was
desert.
hot and rainy.
It was hot and rainy.
and rainy.
Yeah, that's all. That's all I
Oh
gotta say.
boy. Oh boy.
Listen, I heard you had to do the check spot in a Kevlar vest. Is that true?
It was so fun because there was a fight at CB's. The CB's was the fucking, for people that didn't play that club, it was the Wild West.
And it's crazy. It wasn't before. It should have been based on some of the ownership before.
Yes.
And it wasn't. It used to be a place where the owner's name was in it. I'll say it, Sal. Sal would do 45 minutes in the middle of the show, which is unheard of. Also, all due respect, had 5 minutes. It probably was a bigger leap than you. And the host would do 45. The fourth act would go on 2 hours in. And yet it didn't feel like it was ever going to fall apart at that point. CB's, which also was named after the owner and her initials, but they used the CBGB's lettering. This was like a couple years after CBGB's closed. So it had that punk feel. That place did feel like anything could happen at any time. Probably some of it was having to do with management as well. Hell,
Yes.
they were probably doing everything. They were probably doing worse shit in the office than people were doing in the bathrooms of CBGB's.
There was a very wild element to that
Yeah.
club. There was
Right.
fights constantly. The cops all knew me because I would work the door,
Right.
and the cops all hi Zach. Another fight, another person get thrown out. Constant fist fights. I watched Big J choke slam a guy through a table.
That was
In
his
fairness,
closer for a while,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, well, Vince McMahon was in the other booth. He was auditioning. Yeah.
Just constant destruction. That place, and the funny thing at LOL, they didn't have like a full-time security guard, but they had a janitor with a fake police badge
That's
which
right.
is
They would
even
just
better.
call up whenever there was a fight. But the thing that sucked about LOL is you're high up. It was like
Couple
it
floors.
was a couple floors up. So if you got in a fight, you couldn't get out.
Right.
Yeah, you're trapped in there.
You
Yeah.
were
Right.
trapped with the people. So everybody got in these huge
Oh,
brawls.
it was like a phone booth. It's like everybody's in a phone booth.
You're getting in a fight in a phone booth. Yeah, it's like Watchmen. You think you're locked in here? I'm locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
That's
So
right.
I have an LOL bomb that I love.
Yeah.
And I was going up and I'm just dying at this club. I am me, and I've got eyeshadow, eyeliner, I'm wearing multicolored suits. I look like I do magic, but I
Right.
don't, which is never a good sign.
Right.
Which is the most punk thing you could be.
Yeah,
And
he looks like he does magic at Rob Zombie's house.
Yeah. I'm smarmy and dirty. It's a bad combination.
Right.
And I'm going up in front of people that were either swindled by Gold Star or there's a second room that was kind of like an urban room.
Right.
So I go up in the first room one night, and there's two black ladies in the front row who just 2 minutes into me, 3 minutes into me, they're like, no, and get up and leave. And
They just said no.
What?
They just go no and get up.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
Get up, and I do 15, and then I get off stage, and the guy who runs the urban room goes, hey, one of my acts is late, shocker, and can you go up and do 12 and fill time? I go, of course. So I literally went from one room right into the other. And what I didn't know was those ladies got up and went to the box office.
Oh, they went to the other.
And
No.
said, hey, we want to see more comedy. We just hate him. Can we go into the other room?
Boy, we got a deal for you, ladies.
And so they sit them in the front row of the next room, and they go, ladies and gentlemen, your next act, clubs and colleges across the country, Zac Amico. And I don't know they're there, so I just start the same act again.
Oh my God.
And they threw their shit in the air and got up and left again. So I walked them twice
Within
Wow.
minutes.
in 20 minutes.
That is an unbelievable accomplishment.
I don't think anybody's ever going to top it that we're going to talk to on this show to walk the same people twice back to back.
Within the space of 20 minutes.
We need to start coming up with like badges for this show.
Like
Like,
the badge, we hang his fucking jersey up in the rafters. for
Yeah,
that.
right.
We're talking
Is
about
that like a-
badge.
is that like a Purple Heart? Should that be our Purple Heart right now? Our first Purple Heart is Zach.
Yeah, I mean, whatever the highest honor you can give somebody that survived. Give
Oh
it,
my
give it
God.
to Zach. That's his
Two.
award.
The
That's
same people
crazy.
twice in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Who wanted a refund to see someone else more their speed and got you twice is
But that-
amazing.
Not even a refund. They go, you know what? We're willing
Yeah,
to
they
give
weren't
you
mad at
Yeah.
comedy or the club or
right.
the staff. They just hated me.
They go, we want to get away from this guy. The club says, no problem. Go in this room. Here's the guy you wanted to get away
It's-
from.
But you're
waiting
already
for you."
done. They could have
Yeah.
just been like, Miss, he's done. It wasn't going to be you in 6 different jackets the whole fucking night. It wasn't like you're going to come out in a mask and be like, here is Rey Mysterio III, and it's just you doing the same act.
I quit that club because one night a woman tried to get on stage and punch me.
Wow.
Jesus.
And I think who was it? Evan Williams? Somebody. I remember a very good-looking comic, so I want to say Evan Williams.
Very good looking guy.
Grabbed her around the waist and carried her out the door as she was kicking at me.
Oh my
and,
God.
And I had to finish my set.
Right.
And as I'm walking off stage, I saw the guy who ran the room. And this is such a scumbag move, I'll just say it. Who's the fucking guy that ran that urban room? Fucking I'll remember his name. I saw him giving her free tickets and apologizing for my act
To
and
come
telling
back.
her she could come back anytime.
Oh my God. Well, that's so crazy, dude. I had that happen at Times Square Art Center, which was Laugh Factory. It was my home club. A comic did a check spot, bombed 2 minutes, left the stage bare. I got yelled at to come in there. And when I got up, I yelled at him. I didn't know the kid. I'm like, hey, man, don't ever fucking do that. He got mad at me. 20 minutes later, attacked me. The bouncers grabbed him, restrained him, and let him hang out in the lobby and told him to come back the next day. Good job. Thanks for coming out, security. That makes me feel safe.
That room in Poughkeepsie, the one right by the train station, that used to be. God, I love the guys that run it.
Yeah, Cal, laugh it up.
Laugh it up.
Laugh it up.
Where's that, Mahoney's?
Yes, I was doing a show one weekend at Mahoney's, and they just put out like long tables, and people just sit at them facing each other near the stage, and eventually something pops off, and this woman was just literally looking at her friend across the table, just having a full voice conversation while the host was up, while the feature was up. So I come up there heated. I'm like, James knows. I'm like, I'll tell people. I go, leave them.
Get cooking.
I'll take care of it. Don't even address it. If you want to, great, but otherwise, I will handle it. And I go up there, and first thing I do, I'm like, hey, you gotta stop talking, or if you guys want, you can go have this conversation out in the bar. And they decide to get up and go out and leave, and the crowd loves it. And I go into the set, and about 25 minutes in, two of them just stroll in again and sit down and continue to talk again. And I'm like, ma'am, I asked you not to do this. Now you're back. How are you back in here doing this again? And I'm trying to keep it one step at a time on this staircase. It's Poughkeepsie. There's just 10 seconds in, two tables over. Why don't you shut your fucking mouth, cunt? And then her husband stands up, and now the whole show, both tables are up. There's a whole fucking, it's like The Outsiders. It starts raining. People are opening switchblades. It's, and I'm like, what the fuck? Couldn't you just leave and stay out? You could have this conversation in the fucking bar. What makes you want to come back and have this in here? It's really, we don't need help bombing. We can do it on our own.
Oh, yeah. I've got a lot of practice. Yeah.
I'd like to note the name of that guy. I remembered now.
Oh,
The guy that gave the lady free tickets and apologized for my act, Cisco.
Oh, and I'm friends with Cisco. He gave free tickets.
Mhm.
She was attacking you.
Yep.
Oh.
Wow.
I didn't want to lose an opportunity to name names.
Well, what if he walked
Absolutely.
out of my closet right now? Would that be fucking amazing? Would we have the #1 podcast in America?
Why
He's
not?
in your closet. He's probably booking a fucking show in there.
Comes out singing that thong song again. All right.
Well, did you not see the Barker outside? Louis C.K. What's her name? SNL.
Fey.
Yeah, the whole cast of SNL. They're doing stand up.
Dude, Mike Lawrence has the funniest story. He's in the elevator going up to LOL. And he's in there with two British guys, and they have their tickets in their hand. And they go, "Excuse me, sir, are you going to the comedy club?" And he goes, "Yeah, I am." They go, "The man downstairs told us that Jim Carrey would be performing.
Oh no!
Is that true?" And Mike goes, "No, but I am."
At that point, you probably want to take the stairs back down and not perform because you're fucked.
Oh yeah, dude. People would just show up, and I remember this a big family coming in, and it was a comedy club at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah,
and it's a family with little kids,
children's,
and it was a black family, mom, dad, brother, sister, and then two little boys. I'm talking like 5, 6 years old. And they go, "Yeah, we're here to see the Cleveland show." I go, "What?" And they go, "The guy downstairs sold us tickets. He said that this is all the voices from the Cleveland show are doing a show here."
No.
And the little kid is going, "My name is Cleveland," but he's singing the theme song,
No,
dancing.
This
They're
is
so
like his wish
happy.
has come true,
They're
right?
so happy and excited. And I was working, and I was working there at the time, and I was like, "Hey, I'm so sorry. Yeah, dude, this is a stand-up comedy club. And this show is for adults. I don't think you want to bring your kids in." And they went anyway, and they were furious that the show was dirty.
Oh my god! Now,
Yeah.
when you see like a family, do you keep doing your act or do you change it?
I just do my act, but I tell them.
Right.
I go,
Up
"Hey,
front.
listen, guys, what I do up here is for grown-ups.
Right.
You chose to bring your kid. I would like to get, and I've done this before. I was like, you have this opportunity right now to take them out for 15 minutes, 20, however long I'm doing. But I do this for adults.
Yeah.
And I do adult humor. So this is on you now." which I've
It,
had to do a few times.
it reminds me starting out, in Vegas. A good friend of mine, not a comic. I was working either the State Line or some show or something, and he goes, "I'm gonna come out." He says, "But I'm bringing my mom with me. Are you cool with that?" And I remember telling him, I go, "Yo, are you cool with that? Because I'm not going to be changing anything because your mom's there." And you hit it right on the head, Zach. You let them know. You don't change your shit. You just let them. Like, I'll tell the parents, I'm like, "Listen, if you want to keep them in here, it's going to save you a lot of talks down the road. But I don't know that you want me to be the one to be bringing these topics up. So." I think it's best if and but again, how is it our fault when the club sees these kids that are underage that don't belong in this club and they go, "Come on in," you know?
Because it's 2 sodas. They
That's
literally
right.
they look at it and they go, "That's 2 sodas."
That's right.
That's
Wow.
that's another $11 I'm gonna make tonight.
Yeah.
That's worth ruining this.
Yeah. I
Oh,
call it
that's
the
so
Glitter Gulch mentality, the old strip club in downtown Vegas, the Glitter Gulch.
that I
Free
think we got
admission.
thrown out of. Did we get
Yeah,
thrown out of because we
we did.
laughed so much? Yeah.
We did, yeah.
Whoopsie.
Well, listen, I mean, in all fairness, if you're gonna bring a stripper out on the stage, listen, I'm all,
Oh,
women's rights, everything. I get it. I love women. I'm surrounded by them here. But do me a favor, tuck your fucking tampon string in before you hit the main stage and start spinning around the pole. We were talking about how we were gonna light it like a fuse,
oh,
and we
buddy.
started laughing, and they threw us out. After we paid for 2 drinks, $18, I believe, $19 for 2
I
drinks.
got 2 sodas. I acted like the kid.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, the bomb. What now? Had you ever been in a situation where the bomb, other than LOL, where have you ever bombed in front of comedians that you are a fan of? People that
Constantly. I
right,
did the fucking a few weeks ago.
Oh,
Right after I'm riding high, Skankfest was amazing. I idiotically booked myself for shows that whole week after. So I had been up for 4 days partying and doing spots
in Texas.
in Texas.
Okay.
I fly back for a spot that Tuesday.
right.
And I did it as a favor for my friend who books the club. It's a little club in Brooklyn, and it was a burlesque night with
Oh,
comedy.
yeah.
And I bombed and Jay headlined it. And coming off of me having maybe the best weekend of spots of my life,
Yeah.
I bombed in front of Jay so bad. I mean,
Oh,
to the point where people were like yelling at me.
no.
Right.
In Brooklyn. And this is off the L train. So you
Yeah.
wouldn't think people would be yelling.
Well, it was very much like it was one of those. It was the kind of crowd like I could say because I just for example, I have a joke that has the word Mexican in it.
Right.
It's not a disparaging joke,
Right.
but I happen to note that someone is Mexican,
Right.
and I literally said something to Mexican, and somebody just went, "No, you can't say that."
Wow.
I was like, "Well, they're Mexican. Like I don't know how else to describe them."
Yeah. Where do we draw the line? Is Eskimo okay? I
Yeah.
mean, where
Oh.
Yeah, no.
If this show was
horrible sets in
off the
front.
L train, they would tell you emphatically no. But yeah.
Yeah. So they're upset at the word Mexican, and you're just eating it up there. And Jay, who is, I mean, just phenomenally funny. I know Jay for many years. We all do. You come away. There's something about seeing your buddies bombing that gives you such respect for them and such love for them. Like when me and James would just go night after night and just shit tank right in front of each other. That camaraderie of having a friend as it's one of your most humiliating moments, yet having somebody there with you makes you feel better. It's so weird.
In all
Yeah,
fairness,
I
one of us
went
should
back to
take
him.
more than the other. So, in all
Yeah.
fairness, I should take a lot more than Shuli. Sorry, go on. Zach.
No, I apologize. I went back to Jay. I was almost just like I needed his warm embrace for how bad the set was. I
Oh,
just needed to melt into him for a minute.
Yeah.
but you guys are boys and have worked together in so many other things.
Yeah,
But you're still like you respect him so much.
yeah. That it like hurt my feelings to do that bad in front of him.
Oh,
And he
man.
also and Zach also respects and loves comedy so much, and he's so I can tell without having known him for years and years that this guy he really takes his comedy seriously as far as like his writing and his delivery of it, and he respects it and he wants it. We all want it to go well, but some people are like, I hope you don't mind me saying, some people are manic about it. And like, I think Zach is such a professional at the way he does things, as far as coming up with lines or writing or roasting or whatever it is. I think that, you know, it hits harder for him around a guy like Jay, even though they've been boys for years. I just think it hits harder for him because he takes it so seriously and he knows how good he is at it. That's my analysis of you. If you don't like it,
Yeah, I
fuck
mean,
off.
thank God everyone but Jay bombed on it,
Right.
which I only found out after because I didn't see the other comics all eat it as well, and the people there just didn't want to see comedy.
How did the
Uh,
burlesque do? Tell me they bombed. You can't dance to Mexican music.
I'm sure they all did fine because it was girls that like maybe had worked out kind of sometime. It's it's like burlesque. It's like
It's like belly dancing. There's no requirements for it, right?
yeah, it's like the girls that do roller derby, but they lost like 8 pounds, so now they moved on to burlesque,
Right.
and they all did. It's empowerment and fucking yada yada yada.
Yeah. You're still 12 away from an OnlyFans, all right?
Yeah.
Don't pat yourself on the back too hard, ladies. So you actually brought up this burlesque show. I remember I got asked to host a show at New York Comedy Club, and
Oh my God, I remember this.
you remember this, the lingerie show, and it was like 5 female comics, and the gimmick was they were all performing in lingerie. So I come up and host, and I bring up the first comic, I bring up the second one, and then the producer pulls me aside and she goes, um, we were talking, and one of the comics doesn't think it's right that you're the only one that's not in any kind of. We're in lingerie. We're not. Would you mind, getting down to your underwear? And I go, yeah, I would mind that. I would not want to do that. And she goes, well, what about just taking your shirt off? And I go, listen, I write material so I don't have to perform in my underwear. So I'm sorry that she's upset, but I never agreed to do lingerie comedy. You asked me to host, that's what I'm doing. Well, she said she'd walk off if you don't do it. I said, well, I'll be a gentleman and I'll hold the door open for her on her fucking way out. I go, I don't know what to tell you, but just because you need to fucking show your tits and chooch to sell tickets doesn't mean I fucking have to lower myself to that.
In my defense, I show my tits because it's fun.
Yeah.
It is.
I've
It's
done
a
a bunch
hoot.
of the naked shows because I do naked roast at Skankfest. That's like my show.
Oh, that's right.
But when I did the naked show for the first time at the Creek. I'll tell you what's weirder than because they say if you're nervous, pretend the audience is naked.
Right.
You do the naked show at the Creek. All the comics are naked, but at the time they would tell the audience they could also have the option of being nude.
Oh, no.
And you know what's way worse
Oh my
than a
God.
crowd full of naked people? A crowd of clothed people with one naked guy
And it's clearly the creepiest person of the audience, right?
who is terrifying. Just staring and smiling at you.
While
It
you're
looks like
also
a fucking
naked.
horror movie. Like, does anyone else see this?
It's literally the same thing as like everyone's laughing, but one guy's there with his arms folded.
Yeah,
Except
there's one guy way too into it.
it's your show and you're not even that into it.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, dude, I've enjoyed doing all the naked stuff. It's been it's
Have
to
you
me,
ever
it's a challenge.
have you ever bombed naked, and is there a
No.
difference? Yeah.
No, I've done pretty. Those shows, the bar is so low.
Well, I was going to figure, does anyone bomb? I figure everyone's going to be very supportive. There's people who bomb. So now your fucking privates are dangling, and your
lucky.
jokes aren't hitting.
Naked roast. A lot of people have bombed,
Oh my
and
God.
that is a weird.
But think about it, your frame of mind, right? The way you're going into, and I'm sure all of these comics have done roasts before, but going into a roast is nerve-wracking as it is. Now you're completely naked. You're the most vulnerable you've ever been, and you have to have a cadence and delivery, and I imagine that's got to get thrown completely out of whack.
Well, the wild thing is watching dudes' dicks get smaller.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that
in
actually
between
happens.
Jokes.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
they'll bomb and then their dick knows.
Their
So
dick's a
he goes
comedy
for cover.
critic.
Yeah, their dick goes for cover. And you'll watch dudes come out with a hanging dick and it retracts if they bomb.
Have you? Oh, go on.
I was just gonna
Uh,
say the greatest naked roast story I ever heard was a female comedian pulled her jokes out of a plastic baggie in her vagina.
It was Allison Klimp, and it was the funniest fucking thing I've ever seen.
Wait a minute. I thought you were just fucking doing a bit. Allison Klimp actually fucking
She
did
put
that.
her jokes, folded them up, put them in a Ziploc bag, and came out on stage and took her jokes out of her pussy.
Oh my God.
It was so fucking funny. I mean, it was brilliant.
By the way, you forgot to mention they were written on cue cards. You didn't
Oh
mention
my
that part.
No,
God. I used to
No,
play
they were
basketball
the-
with her fiance. This is crazy.
it was so. Some people have murdered. Like,
Right.
it's one of the funniest concept. Like, just the whole show gets so fucking wild. The judges are naked, and I've had like Ari on stage with me. Like, it's been wild.
Yeah, at least you got judges who wouldn't put up a fight when you ask them, would you mind getting naked for this? Ari's definitely game. That's for sure.
Has the opposite happened where someone kills so much that they start like getting more lift down there?
A
Oh.
trans girl
Go ahead.
headlined one year. She was the last battle,
I'll
and
say.
she came out tucked,
Yeah.
so it just looked like a lady
right.
without a penis.
Right.
And she had nice fake tits and was pretty.
Yeah.
And then walked out, waved, and then undid her legs. And this fucking hammer,
Oh my God.
it had a whip to the end. Like, it came out, but it went like whip. It made it had a like the wacky inflatable arm tube man. It went whoop up.
What
Is there
Bailey
a
used to come
sale?
out to in NXT?
What?
Like that shit
Yes,
that
exactly,
Bailey used to
like
come
that.
out to
The
NXT?
whop, and the smile on her face, and the whole crowd just was like, God damn.
Oh man.
I later found out she was on PEDs.
Oh, yeah, I guess so.
She had taken a Viagra ski.
Oh, to
And so that thing
perform.
was about 3 pumps from liftoff.
Listen.
Oh my God.
Listen, Barry Bonds, he still had to make contact with the ball.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
contact.
You know what I mean? Like you can't discredit the whole thing. And what I mean, the only thing missing from that is ta-da, or something.
It was magic.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Taking Viagra to end your set because you're naked, wonderful. It's another level of being a psychopath as a comedian.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
I love that.
Oh my God.
It reminds me of the Police Squad, the Naked Gun when Leslie Nielsen would go, you have something on your face, and it was just that cop who you just see the torso, and you would go, and then you see half a banana fall down on the table. That's what I picture this reveal being like. She opens her legs and just thunk. Just
Oh my God.
unbelievable.
Let me ask you this. So when you go on the road, you tend to do your own shows, or are you open for like guys in your vein, like Jay, the Skanks?
Mostly on the road. I feature for Louis J. Gomez.
Have you ever gone somewhere? Have they booked you to headline because you do have a following in that, and it's in a place that you don't fit in, and it's a big surprise for you and everyone else? Are you ever on the
Yes,
road
I've
without
definitely
them?
gone up to an unprepared room. I think I did a benefit once that I headlined, and they were not.
Wasn't
It was
to
like
your
a ben-
benefit, that's for
It was
sure.
not-
It was a benefit for a sick baby.
oh my
And like
God.
somebody came up and did an acoustic number before,
Oh,
and then it was
boy.
like,
Oh.
and then it was me and Eli, and it was
Oh my
terrible.
God. You got Elliott Smith a guy covering Elliott Smith songs, singing about dead children, and then they bring you out. Oh my
And
God.
And it's Zach and two of the most ruthless roasters in New
Yeah.
York City going up at a sick baby benefit. Which, by the way, is following tears may be the biggest hole you can
It's
fucking
so
jump in
difficult.
comedy.
Yeah.
And it's every benefit. They go, so we're gonna show a video, we're gonna do a slideshow, and then you're gonna be on. And it's like, do the slideshow tomorrow. Let me just go on now.
It's like you're constantly following that Sarah McLachlan commercial with the
Oh.
battered dogs with that song playing. That's always the intro to benefit. So where was this at? Like,
Oh,
was
that
it?
was just a bar in the middle of nowhere.
But like, was it in the city?
No, we traveled. We got
Okay.
on a train for that.
Oh my God! And then Eli goes first, and then you come on. And now, how did it go for Eli?
I think he did better than me.
After after the guy covered Tears in Heaven.
No, he went in between us.
Oh my God! It's even fucking worse. Oh my God!
Yeah.
So it goes Eli, and so they're ready for comedy, and they're all right with some edgy comedy because Eli is very edgy and good. And then they bring out some acoustic son of a bitch going out there and playing, and then you come back out.
Yeah.
Oh, did you know you were a lamb going to the slaughter?
Yeah.
Oh my God!
It was. I actually have. I mean, you want to talk lamb going to slaughter? I'm very young in comedy, and this is the one I wanted to tell. We talked about it at the bar the other night.
Oh yeah.
I'm very young in comedy. I'm still a doorman, ticket guy, and I was doing a bit at the time about trying to get laid at goth clubs.
Okay.
And
You
I
had
love
me at
it
hello.
already. I
Yeah.
love it already.
Yeah.
and it was this bit where I would kind of explain like the culture and talk about trying to get laid. And I guess some chick had seen me or heard about me, and she booked me at a goth night, like all bands and me.
Right.
And I'm too young in comedy to know not to take that gig.
Oh yeah.
I'm supposed to go on at 10. I go on at 2.
Excellent.
Uh,
Excellent.
So 2 a.m. she comes and grabs me, and this is the I think the world's worst intro. She comes, she goes, stand by the stage, you're on next. She gets on the mic, and goes, all right, before our next act, how many birthday girls do we have in the crowd? And like, 8 whores raise their hand.
At 2 a.m, wouldn't you do that housekeeping a little earlier?
They bring them up
Ugh.
and go, all right, guys, so we're going to spank all of you
My God.
with this paddle for however many years old you're turning today, or this month or whatever. So they have a spanking competition. Then all the girls start spanking each other. They all have their skirts up and they're smacking each other's asses. And this lady goes, all right, do you guys want more spanking or a comedian?
No. Oh my God.
And they go,
Do you guys want to stay hard or get soft?
they go, spanking. And she goes, ladies and gentlemen,
Oh
this
my
next guy might have
what
something
an
to say
asshole.
about goth clubs.
Oh,
Zac
no.
Amico.
She sets up your first bit.
She
Oh my
sets up
God.
my closer.
Oh no. So
Right?
now you go up and you got X amount of minutes before you even get into what she brought up.
And she's
I'm-
already taking your grenade out.
Yeah. I walk out, and I mean, if you want to know how a gig's going to be bad, they gave me the band's microphone, which was one of those like LL Cool J, Mama Said Knock You
Oh
Out,
yeah.
like the Michael Buffer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, like a hang down ribbon mic type thing.
But
Yeah.
it's on a stand, but to talking to it, it's in front of my face. So my
Oh.
whole face is blocked. So I'm just a big fat body, a microphone head, and hair. And immediately people start screaming at me to get off the stage.
Of course.
People start walking up to the stage. And I'm 2 minutes in, I lose it.
Yeah.
I lose my shit. And I was like, come up, let's go. I'll fucking fight anybody.
Oh my God. It went to that.
Immediately. Because people are like trying to get on the stage. And then I go, you know what? Fuck this. Fuck you guys. You're not vampires. This is fucking lame. And people laugh at you when you walk by.
Oh my God. You went like Bill Burr in Philly,
I go
Oh.
bananas.
but at a goth
And I
club.
went, and I have the fucking microphone. I have another 10 minutes, and you're gonna listen to every goddamn word
It's the
I have
best.
to fucking say. And then the sound guy turned me off.
Oh my God. You went
Wow.
hard
I
to the
threw the
paint.
microphone, hopped off the stage, and they chased me out of the club
They chased you out.
to the subway.
Who chased you out? Like
About 30 people
the
Oh my
audience, not even
God.
bouncers.
chased me to the subway to where I got in as they were cursing me out from the top of the subway stairs.
Oh my God.
I mean, technically, you had a hard day's night moment. If you don't
Yes.
analyze it too much, I mean, here you are running through the streets with fans chasing you. But holy shit balls. I mean, you talk about the perfect storm.
Addendum.
Yeah.
Girl messages me online. Hey, I was at that show. That was the worst show I've ever been to, and it was great what you said to all those people, and jerked me off.
Wow. Nice
Wow.
country, huh? Nice country.
No
Uh-oh.
better place on earth.
Did
My
you
God.
ever hold on? Did you ever know that you're my hero?
Dude, it's so weird because, like, first of all, them doing the birthdays before they bring you up, asking people for their birthday seems like the least gothy shit ever.
It was so lame.
Really
Is
is.
anyone celebrating anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was darkness, bitch. We're in a goth
The
club.
only worst
Sadness.
intro I've gotten was at a mic when I first started. There was a mic at Webster Hall that had $100 prize, but it was
Miserable place to do stand up, Webster
Well,
Hall.
it was music and comedy.
Oh, just
So
the
bands
worst
got
combo.
2 songs, comedians got 5 minutes.
The only worst
But you
combination
forget-
than that is spanking in comedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way.
Every
Go ahead.
band took 10 minutes to set up. So
Oh,
this
yeah.
open mic started at 6 and ended at 3 in the morning.
Jesus Christ.
I was on like 30th.
Oh.
As I'm walking on the stage, and by the way, the stage is not a stage, it's a floor. You're on the level of the people you're talking to.
Yeah.
As I'm walking to the microphone, like, all right, guys, before our next act, we just wanted to let you know we're running a special for the next 10 minutes. $1 shots at the bar, $1 shots.
Trouble.
So people formed a line in front of me to go to the bar and get shot. So I'm performing to the side of people's heads who are 2 feet in front of me,
Oh,
and no one
no.
can see. I wait another 20 people for my best friend Josh to go up.
Right.
So now it's 2 in the morning. You know, it's fucking late as fuck. There's barely anybody left. Josh is about to hit the stage, and they go, all right, ladies and gentlemen, before your next comedian, I'm just going to, there was a party downstairs, and they donated some food. So, hey, anybody who wants to come to the bar next 10 minutes, free sandwiches. Josh goes up, line for sandwiches right in front of him. They did it to both of us.
Oh my god! It reminds me. Last summer, I was in Vegas doing Brad Garrett's at the MGM, and I'm like feeling good about myself. I get out to go to the showroom that night, and Chappelle and Rogan are doing a show in the arena, and
Oh,
I
man.
have to slalom by 15,000 people to go down the escalator to Brad Garrett's comedy club in like the basement, and it's just people who didn't want to pay that much for comedy that are there. It's not like anybody came to see me. They're just like, how much is that ticket? Let's go see this fucking idiot instead. And it's just like there's no, I mean, just a line of people in front of you. I can't imagine. The other thing I want to we definitely have to have Zach back on because
Oh, yes.
you are into wrestling and you are involved in wrestling. And I want to, this show is about bombing. It's not just about comedy. We want to talk to musicians. We want to talk to anyone in the entertainment industry that has bombed. And I want to talk to you about wrestling bombing the next time you come on, because I think there's some. First of all, I know that those two worlds are so similar, especially the indie wrestling scene and the comedy scene. It's shit gigs for shit money, but it's a passion and it's a love for it, and that's what keeps the people coming back. And I'm sure there's tons of shit that goes wrong and that doesn't pan out like you thought it would. So we definitely want to have you back on and talk about that.
Yeah, I would love that.
I actually saw one of his matches, Shuli. He showed it to me. We did a podcast together live a few weeks ago, and he's showing it to a room full of podcasters and comics and animals, and we just had wild-ass strippers, and we're about to get a drink, and we're just crazy people on a weeknight in the Lower East Side. And Zach is very proud of this match because it's great. It's a death match. And he's happy with this, and he wants to show it off. And we are all the most empathetic, sad sack bitches ever. Anytime he takes any kind of like a shot of like light bulbs, he gets cut.
I'm
Crimson mask.
covered in blood.
And so this is not a bomb for him. This is like to highlight him. And we're friends with this fucking guy. We're like, oh, and like Ralph Sutton
Ralph couldn't watch it.
from SDR, who says some of the wildest shit ever, is a wild dude, is a self-proclaimed creep. I have never seen him act like a fucking brand new ant ever in life. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't make you brownies after. Like he was so like, oh my hush child, please don't do this.
Meanwhile, the guy's got, a line of women pissing on the console over there
Bro.
during SDR, and this, he goes, I can't watch this.
It
This
was
is horrific.
insane. Everyone was just like, oh, come on, Zachy, please. We're so worried about him. And he's in front of us unscathed. This was like months ago, weeks ago, something like that. And he's fine. And we still were like, oh, little baby, look, can we read you to sleep?
Match was I came up with a spot that I don't think anyone's ever done before. You know the way Chris Farley used to go through tables on SNL?
Yes.
I did that through a barbed wire table.
Shuli, it was banana.
Wow.
It was
Jeez
banana.
Christ. All right, we got to get into it next time. There's too much to cover. This international superstar.
Too much on
Zac
the
Amico.
bone.
You can check him out on Real Ass Podcast on the Gas Digital Network. Bye, guys, with another good friend of ours, Mr. Ian Fidance. Zach Spook Show, you still doing?
Yep, Fridays at midnight on Gas.
He's all over Gas Digital, and rightfully so. The dude is fantastic.
He's like Michael Strahan. He's on every fucking show.
Yeah, I think the three of us reviewing wrestling would be a good show. What do you think?
Oh, that's
I'd
a
fuck
good
with
one.
that.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk, boys. Conrad Thompson, I'm letting you know, dog. Let's go.
It's like we're cutting the promo already. Conrad, we're coming for you.
Zac Amico, social media, website.
Yeah, just follow me on Instagram at Zach is not funny. My backup Twitter, ZA Spook Show. My first Twitter got banned. And
That's how you know he's got good content.
yeah.
Yeah.
Follow him.
And Catalyst Wrestling will be back in New York City, I think January the 15th. So look that up. Should be a really fun show.
Beautiful. Thanks for doing this. Thanks for coming out, Zac Amico. We love you, brother.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Thanks for coming out, baby.
All right, this was a good episode.
Fuck it.
Long story short,
He failed. God damn it. Yes,
Wait.
misery loves company, my boy.
thanks for coming out. Boom.
Thanks for coming out, baby. Thanks for coming out.
Hey! Thanks for coming out. Are we under attack?
Thanks for coming out. Fuck, that bad?
Thanks for coming out. I'm in. Thanks for coming out.
Yeah. All that was unprofessional.
Thanks for coming out, ladies and gentlemen. The bomb is the bomb.